In this episode, we compare used hatchbacks from BMW and Volkswagen. We pit the Toyota Hilux against its more upmarket sibling, the Prado, and we take a closer look at exhaust systems and how to ensure the longevity. Hello and welcome to Buyer's Guide, proudly brought to you by Change Cars. Now, every week we do our best to provide you with useful advice, whether it relates to buying, selling, or maintaining a vehicle. If you have a question for the team, you can send it to buyersguide@ignitiontv.co.za, and please include as much information as possible, including a photo of yourself. This week, joining us in studio to help us answer some of those burning automotive questions are two familiar faces. Gugu Masuku from 224 Wheels and Patty Talyard from Williams Hunt Fourways. All right, let's get into our first question. It comes from Justin, who would like to buy a hatchback that is reliable for frequent long-distance trips between the Eastern Cape and Johannesburg. His budget is $210,000, which must include a 2-year warranty. He's considering two German options, either a VW Polo or an F20 series BMW 118i or 116i. But guys, he's open to other reliable alternatives as well.
Well, for me, the two options, I think when it comes to the 1 Series maintenance, it's going to be a lot higher than the Polo, maintaining that.
But he's got like two ends of the spectrum here, hasn't he?
Yeah. One is here.
One is here and one is down there, yes.
So, I mean, should he choose the Polo, he needs to remember that in South Africa, Polos are very famous and they get taken.
High-risk vehicles.
High-risk vehicles.
So what would you go with? What would you suggest to him?
I'll go for the Polo for maintenance. Fuel efficiency, I mean, a 116 and a Polo, I'm sure it should be similar. In terms of fuel efficiency, there won't be much of a difference, but I'd still go for the Polo because of maintenance, especially if it's a used Polo.
But just remember, he also asked for a 2-year warranty with it.
Ooh.
We'll come back to that just now. I just want Patty's take on these two cars first.
I'd also go with the Polo. You've got a much better trade value and good after-sales service.
But for 2017, will he get it with a 2-year guarantee?
Probably not.
Probably not. So then he's going to have to...
He could extend the warranty.
Exactly. He's going to have to maybe buy a aftermarket
yes.
or an extended warranty from VW.
Correct.
All right. Final choices there? Polo.
Yeah, still Polo.
And your reason being for that is the maintenance and
Maintenance, also like Patty said, after sales.
everything available?
Everything available. Resale value.
Okay. And Patty, you're going to stick with your Polo?
I'd stick with the Polo.
Okay, I'm going to put
What are
him
you
in a
gonna go
new
with?
Suzuki Swift.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to put him in a new Suzuki Swift because I think he's going to get bang for his buck. He's going to have the Japanese reliability, and and the Suzuki brand is right up there. So I think he'll be doing real fine. But hey, Justin, it's just advice from us. Go out there, drive all the cars, see which one you like. He may not like, although he'll get a brand new Suzuki Swift, he may just not like it, guys. He may still want to go with his 2017 Polo. If you're going to go with your 2017 Polo, as Gugu suggested, get an aftermarket warranty. As Patty also suggested, get yourself an aftermarket warranty, and you should be covered. But the BMW, I think you should stay away from.
Yes.
Okay. From hatchbacks, we turn our attention now to the ever-popular SUV. Claude is about to head into retirement, and he'd like to buy a new vehicle that will last between 15 and 20 years. 7 seats are not important, but wait for it, good fuel economy and long-term reliability are. He plans to do about 10,000 kilometers per year, which will include the odd interprovincial trip. He's narrowed down his options to the Mitsubishi Pajero Sport 4x2 2.4 Auto and the Subaru Forester Sport 2.5 CVT. All right, guys, you'll know where I'm headed with this. Patty, what would you... He's given you two options.
Yes. I would go Pajero Sport. Forester, small dealer network or small dealer footprint.
Yeah.
And also the Forester is more thirsty.
And it's petrol.
Yeah, so I would definitely go Pajero Sport. You could even throw in the Isuzu MUX.
Gugu, I mean, is there anything else he could look at in this category? What else would you suggest?
Look, I mean, I think the Pajero Sport's a good one, but you could also get a Toyota Fortuner.
I mean, I don't say Toyota Fortuner anymore because that's the first thing on my lips all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
So I'll say it for you. Yeah, that's a good option.
I love the Pajero Sport. It does it. The Pajero Sport does it for me because if you're looking for a car that you're not going to break the bank with and give you the reliability factor and everything that he's looking for, it would be the Pajero Sport.
Yes.
Patty pointed out, Subaru don't have a big dealer footprint. You know, if he goes and he wants to travel interprovincially, if anything goes wrong, he's maybe not going to be able to find
Correct.
a Subaru dealership.
Correct.
For me, it would be the Pajero, but I like your suggestion of the Fortuna as well. Okay, so we're in agreement.
Don't throw away the Isuzu.
Don't throw away the Isuzu as well. All right, stay tuned because after the break, we go shopping for a Toyota 4x4 around the R500,000 mark. And performance hatchbacks from the Blue Oval come under the spotlight. You're watching Buyer's Guide, and if you just joined us, welcome to this week's show. Marius currently drives a 2017 Toyota Hilux 2.8 and would like to upgrade to a 4x4 vehicle. A brand new Hilux is far beyond his budget of R500,000, so he's considering a used Land Cruiser Prado instead. In his price range, he can get into a 2014 4-liter petrol VX model. But guys, he'd like to hear what we think. 4-liter VX with the petrol prices the way they are?
It's going to kick him. It's going to kick him. There is a 3-liter diesel in that, so that might be an option.
But I don't think he can find one.
I think he will struggle to find a 2014 model with that kind of mileage for that price.
And I have to agree with you. But I'll tell you why he will find a 4-liter though.
Yeah.
Because it's a petrol-driven vehicle.
So he might be
He
lucky
might
there.
be able to get exactly that for R500,000, and you know, it will be in his budget, but he need to have like a suitcase of money to top it up every time he gets to the petrol station. Patty?
I agree. He's getting a lot of car in the Prado.
Yes.
But his running costs are going to, I think, spoil that for him in the long run. So the Hilux is a good option, but I understand what he's saying with the canopy and the dust and all the rest of it. So he could also consider the previous generation MUX 4x4, which has got good fuel consumption.
And that would change the model though. I think that would be very important. The previous generation
MUX
4x4 will be what, a 2018, 2019?
Looking at about 2018.
2018. If he is going to buy the 2014 and he wants to stay within the brand, I have no objections to him buying it. He just needs to know it's a thirsty vehicle and it's going to cost him money to run purely with petrol.
Correct.
His other maintenance options are not that bad.
No, but it's,
They're not
it's
that
the
bad.
fuel.
But he needs to know.
And we don't know where the fuel price is going at the moment. But I'm sure if you're looking at a vehicle in that range or that type of car, then you're mentally and emotionally prepared to swipe the...
But again, guys, I feel like his two options are the Prado and the Hilux. Why are we not looking at the Hilux as well?
Because he said something about spending 30,000 on a canopy and then have to contend with ever-present dust.
Dust inside,
issues.
yeah.
But you do get dust covers that you can put on the backs of the, you know, in the tailgate, etc.
And he wants a 4x4.
Yeah, so does he need a bakkie or does he need an SUV?
Correct, because those are two totally different.
Yeah.
He needs an SUV because he's not too happy with buying the bakkie and adding 30K to put on a canopy. So I would say,
Prado.
all right, you want to put him in the Prado. He seems to love his Toyota.
He does?
If I'm going to recommend something, I'm just going to warn him about the fuel consumption and put him in the VX, 4-liter VX.
And I think what Patty said is very true, that it's going to ruin his ownership experience long term, that whole fuel issue. He may want to overlook it now, but long term,
it might ruin his love for the brand.
Yeah.
Patty said the
I said MUX
MUX as well.
Yeah,
It's also be a 2018, hey Patty?
correct.
So it'll be a younger vehicle. So maybe you should look at those two options. All right. Before we head into the ad break, here's a question from Nish, who is 35 and owns a Toyota Fortuna that is used to transport the family and for exploring South Africa. He can spend up to 300,000 Rand on a fun daily runner and is keen on a Ford Fiesta or Focus ST. Given that the examples he's found have between 70 and 90,000 kilometers on the clock, would they be reliable, seeing how they performance hatches? Google?
Look, I mean, when we speak of reliability, that's more your forte, but because there are performance hatches, they're probably being driven accordingly, so that might be something to consider. And
But at 70 and 90,000 kilometers, I don't think they're broken. Yes, I agree with you. They've been driven,
Yeah.
and he needs to consider that. Or he needs to accept
Yeah.
that is the kind of,
Yeah.
that's the vehicle he wants. And seeing how he's owned a GTI previously, a Golf 7 GTI, he knows how he's driven it.
Exactly. So,
So in purchasing these vehicles,
yeah.
he needs to look at what you just said.
And because of that, my opinion is he could get a Swift Sport for that kind of money. It's tons of fun to drive. We were at the launch together, if I remember correctly.
I left all you guys standing,
No,
if
you
I
did
remember
not.
correctly.
No, I don't remember that part. But for me, that would be the kind of car because, I mean, I don't think a Swift Sport driver is a GTI driver. It's a different kind
It's
of
like
driver.
a more cultured driver, if I may use that term loosely.
Well, you can use that term. That's fine.
Patty, anything from your stable that you could put him in that will give him that, put the smile on his dial on his morning drive?
Is Ford not pulling out the ST
It's done.
It's done.
They're not making it.
100%?
Yeah.
So, okay, they would need to keep parts, etc., for the next 10 years. anyway,
Exactly.
okay, so that won't be too much of an issue. I would look at maybe, or throw into the mix, Peugeot 208.
Yeah, there's another zippy little car.
You know me and my Honda S2000, if you can find one.
Mm-hmm.
If you-
There's a nice drive, hey?
If you can find
Yeah,
one.
they're about 250 to 280K now, am I
Correct.
right?
That's it.
If you can find
If you
one
can find
in
one,
good
but
nick,
Honda
yeah.
S2000 would be
Would be one you'd
like
put.
top of my list.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's upset that he had to sell his GTI for
Yep.
his family. So the daily drive is just going to be for himself. So whether you put him in a two-seater or a four-seater,
Four-seater.
doesn't really matter. I like the idea of the S2000, Patty, but I've been looking at prices on an S2000. They start from about 260 to 270. And the conditions of the vehicles, no. You don't want to get in one of those. If you find one in good nick, you're looking anywhere up to 300K.
Yeah, I saw that.
With the new car, with the second-hand car prices going through the roof, that's the kind of money you're looking at. And yeah, it'll fit in his budget.
It will fit in his budget, and I mean, you're familiar with Honda, you know the S2000. It's definitely a fun car to drive.
Lots of fun, yes. Okay, but anyway, let's see him being, let's put him in a Ford. He's keen on these two.
Okay.
I would tell him to look out for the S200 ST, the Fiesta, if he can find one. Because I don't think you're going to find the 200 ST just like that. And if you do find one, Gugu, you know what you said. It'll be really pulled through its backside.
So what's your answer on reliability? Because I think his question is also around that with those
Look,
cars.
if you find a car that hasn't been banged about or anything, I don't have a problem with the Ford reliability. We know how these cars are driven. So before you buy it, take it for a test. Pay the $700 or whatever. Have it looked at. Let them check the entire vehicle out for you. Check out the CVs. Check out the clutch. Check out, because these are the things that fail on a car of this caliber.
Correct.
So let them check all those things out. And if you if you get a clean bill of health for the car,
Grab it.
grab it.
Absolutely.
You know, there's nothing wrong with having a Ford Fiesta 200 ST. That's the one I'd choose, because it's like a daily driver, one guy in the car. I would leave the Focus out. I wouldn't worry about the Focus. You know, unless he finds a Focus in better condition than the ST, by all means. But I would look for an ST 200 ST Fiesta. Paddy, S2000, fantastic. Suzuki Swift, just as great. Go drive them all if you get a chance, and then see, Nish, if what shakes your bell. We'll be taking a short break, but when we return, we'll look at preventative maintenance for a used VW Polo, and we find out how to prevent your car's exhaust system from burning a hole in your pocket. Welcome back to Buyer's Guide. Our next question comes from Dion, the 26-year-old owner of a 2017 VW Polo TSI Comfort Line. He bought the car in May 2020 with 73,000 kilometers on the clock, and it now sits at 108,500 kilometers. The car has given him trouble-free service and has always been maintained by VW agents. He's looking to keep the car for a few years to come, and he'd like to know if we can recommend any preventative maintenance to ensure the car's long-term reliability. Now, Gugu, washing the car regularly is not going to help, right?
No, that's not going to help.
At all.
Uh,
He does mention, though, he'd like to know whether he needs to change the cam belt and should he let the agents know of anything else.
Look, in my opinion, he needs to keep doing what he's doing, servicing it at VW at the right points. But in
I
terms
think it's
of,
every 15,000, yeah.
Yeah. In terms of preventative maintenance, I think you're the guy to talk to, Sagi. What do you think?
Let me tell you what happens, and he's quite right. Preventative maintenance is ideal. When you get to a dealership, they want to make some money. So they are going to look for stuff that may break a little further down the road and tell you about it. His brake pads may be 30%. They'll tell him, look, put on a new set of brake pads that'll help you prevent your discs from getting damaged. Because you may never always be near a dealership to change your brake pads when they do finally hit that metal-to-metal sound that you shouldn't be hearing. So preventative maintenance, if you at a dealership, will get done for you. You do not have to worry about that. Dealerships are always looking to ensure that the car leaves there such that it only comes back in 15,000 kilometers, which is a good thing on one hand. You know, if a guy hasn't got the money, he'll tell them, please don't do that. Or the dealership will say, this is safety critical, you need to do this first.
Yeah.
Or this here is gonna fail. So please do that first. You know, and things like that. Like he asks about the cam belt replacement. Yes, every manufacturer has its own time frame in which they do it. Some of them say 5 years or 120,000 kilometers. A lot of them say 180,000 kilometers, but then you'll find like the cam belt failed at 110,000 kilometers. So if he wants to change the cam belt at 108,000 or 110,000 kilometers, ask the person maintaining your car or the dealership, ask them, should I have my cam belt replaced at this service? They'll do a check for you, they will tell you. Let's go back to his preventative maintenance question. Is there anything else you should ask them to check and replace? No, don't ask them to replace anything. Ask them to give you a full report first. Then ask them, what is safety critical? What do they feel should be changed? And what they think you can continue until the next service with. Because if you came to my workshop and you said, please replace everything and do everything, I'd be more than happy to do that.
Of course you would.
I'd be more than happy to replace everything and do everything. But what would you say to Dion, Patty?
I agree with you there. For obviously, first and foremost and most critical is regular servicing.
Yes, which he has been doing.
Which he has been doing, and don't stop doing that. Even if your car is out of service plan or out of warranty, or regardless of how old the vehicle is, have it serviced regularly. Because if you look after your vehicle, it will look after you. And I fully agree with you. Don't walk in and say, replace X, Y, and Z. Walk in and ask for a full report, because as you mentioned, every service that gets done, there is a full check on the vehicle.
Okay, here's something for you, Patty. I've maintained this car my whole life. It's now got 250,000 kilometers, or 300,000 on the clock, but it's always been done at a VW dealership. How will that change you looking at the car when I bring it to you for a trade? Let's say here's a guy, same car, but it's been serviced all over the place. Here's a car, OEM serviced only.
Book stamped OEM service gives you full service history.
Yeah.
Service up to end of plan at dealer level, and then at RMI
approved
gives you partial history.
How will that affect the price
if your
you
book
give
is
me?
stamped and it's an RMI approved workshop, it doesn't make much of a difference on your
on my trade value?
Your trade value. No.
Okay.
As long as you've got a full service history.
Okay. That's
But
a
if
very
you've-
valid point you're making.
If you've
here.
serviced it at Joe Soap on the corner stand with no valid
Stamp. or-
stamp, etc., then you've got partial history, and then your value does drop, because obviously we now need to look and see what's going on here.
Okay.
What has been done? What
hasn't been done?
Is it super glue, duct tape, or is it like done proper?
Okay, we end things off with something completely different. Benny owns a 1996 Toyota Camry 220 SEI. About 2 years ago, he had the exhaust silencer replaced at a franchise fitment center. At the time, they didn't have a vehicle-specific unit in stock, So they fitted a universal item which cost 1,600 Rand. Now this very same silencer has to be replaced again, and he'd like to know if it's normal for these universal units to last just 2 years, and if so, can we recommend a more lasting solution? Guys, okay, from what I don't know whether he fitted this silencer in and left it to stand. If he's done that, that silencer lasting 2 years is excellent. Because vehicles that stand, there's a tendency for that silencer system to have water and moisture in it, and it'll wear out and rust through way faster than if you drive the vehicle every day. If he's taken this vehicle out the exhaust shop and left it to stand or driven it very rarely, that's what's going to happen. Okay, but let's assume he hasn't. 2 years on an exhaust system, on a silencer system, he could have just got a dud. You know, the baffles could have collapsed, something would have happened. And if he went back to them and he asked them, okay guys, why did this happen? Can you show me? They'd probably point it out to him.
So how often do silencers need to be replaced? Because I've never heard of a silencer being replaced in a car.
Okay, silencers need to get replaced when they start rattling most of the time, or when you start losing power and you go to an exhaust shop, they have it look at it and say, oh, your silencer's blocked up, or your baffles have collapsed. These days, it's the catalytic converters that fail. You know, so silencers is not a regular failure. But the other thing is, guys, this is a 1996 model. You think Toyota have original silencer for
a Camry?
Stop.
But the first one lasted very long. I mean, for him to
only have done it. Look, we don't know if this is a car you own from new. Or the previous owner has already replaced 5 or 6 different silencers on it. You know, and 1,600 Rand, if you look at putting a complete silencer unit in with the labor to cut off and weld a new piece in, is not too much or not excessive amount of money. But it only lasting 2 years, he should go back, be nice, talk to them. They'll look at it for him and
they'll make a plan.
They'll give him an idea as to why it failed.
Yeah.
They'll definitely give him an idea as to why it failed. And exhaust places don't replace with crap. It may be an aftermarket place, but they don't replace with just any rubbish they found on the corner. They do proper. You know, they're brand names in the exhaust game as well. So they use like Bosel and things like that. They use the right stuff. Maybe he clipped it on a stone. We don't know. And with that, we've come to the end of this week's show. Thank you, Patty and Gugu, for giving me a hard time and giving us all the helpful information you guys normally bring to the show. Remember, if you happen to be shopping for a new vehicle, whether it be a reliable runabout, a capable off-roader, or a pocket rocket, visit changecars.co.za to see if they can't beat your quote. Until next time, please buckle up and stay safe on the roads.